Hi and welcome to Minivan Camper Building with Leslie. Today I'm going to show you how I built this screen room here on the back of our minivan camper. Right now we're somewhere in Texas. It's 96 degrees. We're in a campground. There are a lot of RVs with their ACs going and we are a little jealous. But this screen room here on the back of the van is really helping to capture any breeze that's passing by and helping us to stay as cool as we possibly can. I'll show you how to do it. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Leslie and I built out our minivan here into our camper, and I'll show you how to do it too if you're so inclined. So while you're here, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? We can keep in touch, and anything that you have a question about, I will try to do my best to help you out. So building out the screen room on the back of the minivan, I'll give you step by step. Let's go. There are just a couple of tools I used for this whole screen door project. First, I got a bunch of these little magnets. They're generally used for something called magnet fishing, which sounds like a lot of fun. I need to try it sometime. They're very strong little magnets and they're perfect. I used about 10 or so for this project. The reason they work so well is that they have these loops on them that allow you to pull them off easily. The next thing I used is 2 bungee cords. You'll have to decide which length is right for you based on where and how you're going to hook them. I'll show you exactly what I did. And the third thing is an old tent. I used an old dome tent similar to this one. And then I cut out the floor all the way around. I removed the floor entirely and I threw it out. That left me with this. This is just the top of the tent. No fly, just the tent itself with no floor and a lot of screen. To make the screen room, go ahead and take one end of your tent and drape it over the back of the van with the tailgate or lift gate, whatever that thing is called, with that in the closed position. Use a couple of those magnets strategically placed to hold that tent in place. You can see here I used 3 magnets. They're strong enough so they hold it nicely, and I pulled the tent nice and tight across the surface of the van so no bugs can find their way in. With those magnets in place, the next thing you want to do is open up the back of the van. Now take a bungee cord, and you'll have to experiment to see which length works for you and where on the tent you can find a good place to hook it. I used one of those plastic loops that holds the tent pole if you were setting this up as a regular tent. The other end of my bungee cord, I stretched it forward and I hooked it onto the wheel. These wheels are actually perfect for this because they have an open pattern to them and I can easily hook the bungee cord onto a part of the wheel. Then, to secure the rest of the tent around the back of the van, I folded the tent as neatly and tight as I could, sort of like I was wrapping a gift. Then I used more magnets to hold it in place around the sides of the van. Unfortunately, not every panel on the van will accept these magnets, so I just had to get creative and use the magnets only where they would attach to the van properly. Here I tried my best to make sure that the tent was stretched as tightly and as close to the van as possible so no bugs would find their way in. That being said, I believe it's probably impossible to cover every little way a bug could find its way in, but I did my best to eliminate as many as I could. I'm not going to make it easy for them. Here's what it looks like when the screen room is in place. It certainly doesn't give you any privacy, but if you can handle that, the trade-off is you get a terrific breeze blowing through your van if you can open up another window or two to let the air flow right through it. I love the screen room because it gives you a terrific view, something you don't have when the back of the van is closed off. As long as you aren't worried about being woken up at dawn or seeing any lights anywhere overnight, this is a really great solution. It also works great because it packs up to almost nothing. It doesn't take much, just the bungee cords, the magnets, and the tent itself. They all can fit into a really small bag and be tucked away in storage. This is something that can travel easy, doesn't take up space, and has a big impact on your enjoyment of the van. It also gives you a lot more room when you're hanging out in the back of the van. You don't feel so claustrophobic. It really does give you almost an extra room. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the screen room on the back of the minivan camper. Always good hanging out with you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.